Well, how about another round of applause for Matt? Good job. I'm excited, man. Look at you guys are a smart crowd, saving the standing ovation for the end. That is awesome. What can I tell you? I live in northern Mexico, a place called Houston, Texas, and I love doing stand-up. Matt and I were talking about it's so great. I get to travel, I get to meet people, I get a ton of free hotel shampoo. Yeah, if I ever start using shampoo, I'm sad. I get to go to third world countries. I've been to El Salvador, Guatemala, Arkansas. And that is not a joke. Some of you know. I actually just did a camp there 3 weeks ago, and I can't tell you how many times I had to say, you're not supposed to eat that. And I'm like, you're a youth leader, show some respect. But no, so I get to travel seriously out of the country. 4 weeks ago, I went to Canada to do a show for the Canadian Army. It's awesome. They even let me shoot their main weapon. I love shooting that slingshot. Pow, pow. Hey? That's right, bilingual. So I do. I'm so blessed to be able to do comedy. Before I was a comedian, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, but I realized finally that that's never going to happen because I'm afraid of needles. And sports crowd. Okay. This isn't part of my act. I just think you guys will actually think this is funny. I don't normally tell this, but for Halloween, I actually dressed as Tony Romo, and when the kids knocked on the door, I opened the door and I threw the candy to the wrong kids. Okay, some of you laughed. Some of you were like, oh. I'm interested. Is it because you're a Romo fan, or is it because I'm a Christian talking about Halloween? Huh? Come on, Christians, let's just say it. Like, it's a big deal. Like, a lot of people are like, don't talk about Halloween, and I live my life transparent. I'm just going to be honest. I'm a Christian, and I love Halloween. I honestly think it's the best way to teach my kids about the IRS. I let them go get the candy. When they come home, I take 50% of it right there. This year, I'm going to take 60. It's okay. I'm going to give them free health care. So I do. I love being a comedian. Because God created laughter. It's a great. I actually got on a plane 5 weeks ago, and it was this weird little small airline. I think it was called Kanye West. And it was not called that. I don't even remember what it was called. I do know the plane took off, so I know it wasn't American Airlines. And that's not a joke either. That is, I don't know if you've ever tried to fly there. I have a neighbor that has a dog that kept running away. He renamed it American Airlines. It hadn't gone anywhere. So, I see some of you are like, oh man, they're looking around to see if I'm going to fit in. I'm not going to, if somebody worked for American Airlines and they were coming to my show, they're still sitting in their driveway. So I got on this plane, and it was like 5 in the morning. I was tired. Plus, it really was a little small plane, and the pilot, I got to see the pilot, and how young are these pilots? Like, he looked like he had just graduated from high school. I couldn't tell if that was his captain's uniform or he's still wearing his tux from prom. And I don't think a captain's uniform should have a boutonniere. And so it was early, and I was nervous, and so I went and I sat down, and the coolest thing happened, because I was like, it was so early, and I was like, oh, I just don't want to fly. And then all of a sudden, because God will do this, He'll give you these little blessings throughout life. All of a sudden, this 5-year-old kid peeked up from the seat in front of me. He goes, hee hee, right? Oh, and my heart melted, so I went, hee hee. Which, by the way, if you're ever in that situation, don't do that. What you need to do is stab him in the eye. I didn't realize we were starting the hee-hee game where every 30 seconds he's going to go hee-hee, and I'm supposed to go hee-hee, or he gets mad. So the whole time he's going hee-hee, I'm like, anybody stop him? Hee-hee. Anybody flight attendant? Hee-hee. Okay, hee-hee. What's his mother doing? Oh, she's still drinking. Hee-hee. I didn't know why I did this, but finally I just had him. He hadn't even taken off yet. He goes hee-hee, and I was like, ha ha! Game over, I won. And you know what I won? A different seat on the plane by the air marshal. Yeah, and he's not supposed to tell you who he is, but he kept reminding me. And And so I'm sitting there, this is why I'm telling you the story. So I got out this in-flight magazine, and I was reading in it, and the first part was all about the Olympics. I don't know if you guys followed. In there, again, this is not part of my act, I just thought this was weird. Trampoline is an Olympic sport. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? Do I get gold? You know? What's next? Tag? Duck, goose? Red Rover? Sorry. I just pitched that. Red Rover, let China come over. Actually, China would win. They can go under our arms. Drink your milk. That's my message. But no, I had all this. I didn't read a lot about the Olympics because I don't know. I like to learn stuff when I wish they had the husband Olympics. Like, every husband's looking up now. Ooh, the husband, because you could learn something. Wouldn't you know? I would watch that. You sit, hey, we're here with Jed Thompson, winner of the What's That Noise Downstairs? Go check it out finals. You did well on that, but you totally failed at the bug smash deal. What happened? Had a cockroach on my wife's curtains. I was going for no splash. It is the Olympics. And I don't even have a joke. I'm just totally making this up. Halfway through, I was like, why are you doing this? Anyway, so the reason why I was telling you this was the In-Flight magazine in the back. I love whenever things, like when science and stuff catches up with how amazing God is. It was saying that morphine, like laughter, is 10 times more powerful than morphine. I was like, yes, that is, I don't want to quit using morphine. I don't want to break my leg in half and my doctor standing over me going, knock. I just thought that was cool. And then I put the In-Flight magazine up and I took my phone out. I've got the iPhone, which, I caved because I travel around. I do shows for youth groups all the time, and I had iPhone envy. Oh, by the way, if anybody has a BlackBerry, I want to see it after the show. I've only seen one once at a museum. I got the iPhone because I got so tired of kids having better phones. Kids would come up to me after the show and be like, hey, I liked your show. I recorded it, not all of it, just the funny part, so it's only 7 minutes long. But I'm uploading it to Facebook, but I have picture-in-picture so we can watch it when it's loading. In fact, you want some popcorn? Hold out your hand. I got embarrassed. I'm an adult. I'm going, well, yeah, you want to play Snake? So I got the iPhone, and it is great. It does everything, and so I got it out, and we've taken off, and I didn't realize this, but the flight attendant came running down, and he yelled at me to put my phone up, and here's what he told me. He told me that if you have your phone on while you're on the plane, it messes with the instruments, and the plane will crash, okay? I'm a Christian. I don't like to call people liars, but having a phone on would make the plane. If that was true, why would terrorists go to all the trouble to sneak a bomb on the plane? Why wouldn't they just stand up in the middle of the flight and be like, ah! I will now fling this angry bird, and we will die like pigs. I was playing this game called Tap Tap. It's just a mindless game, and he was like, turn your phone off. He goes, it's a federal offense. Which I didn't believe in, but I got to the hotel, and when I landed, I looked it up. Which, by the way, again, I love doing comedy, but I love telling people about different ways they can show Christ to other people. And so I'm not telling you this to brag, but I got to the hotel, and they didn't have a room ready for me, and you could tell the lady thought I was going to yell at her. And I was like, you know what? I'm a Christian. I got too much joy in my heart to yell. I got stuff I can do in the lobby, and so I started doing it. And because I was nice and Christ-like, she immediately found a room. She's like, we got a room for you. And so I put my toenail clippers up. WWJD. So anyway, but I looked it up when I got to the room. It's a federal offense. Nobody's going to jail, but I could have, thank goodness he didn't prosecute me, because honestly, how long would I last in jail, especially for that? Like some big dude walking up to me going, what are you in for? I'd be like, oh, I'll tell you. I was sitting on an airplane, and I was playing my phone. I was playing Tap Tap. So you spread the word, nobody better mess with me or I'll get you tap tap. So anyway, I love traveling. I love that God created laughter. I think it's so amazing. And even when I was young, people told me I should be a comedian. People encouraged me. I had one teacher actually take me out of class and go, you should be a comedian. You need to quit school right now. But hey, I'm going to get better. Are you leaving? Don't leave. I got, Oh, you gotta make a duty? Oh, make a little duty. You're going to get me, aren't you? I'm not going until I get back to St. Louis now. Shouldn't have told you where I'm staying. So anyway, it is, you know, and I grew up, like, comedy's a big part of my life. If any of you have bought my latest DVD, which I know there's 127 of you out there, because I talked about it, I grew up in a town with 281 people in it. I mean, we had nothing. We had a little school and a little, I guess it was a store, it's called a drive-through tobacco barn. I don't know what happened there. I guess rednecks just pulled up and were like, yeah, fill her up. But this is kind of a small town, right? You can't even afford colors for your squirrels. So, I get paid for this. So anyway, I just picture my kids at school. What does your dad do? He makes jokes about squirrels. Anyway, so the point is, so it was a small school. But, you know, growing up in a small town, you know, you guys have problems. We had big city problems. We had drive-by cow tippings. And, you know, do you guys have gangs here? You have gangs? Is it a gang problem? No? Oh, everybody got quiet. He was coming back. That was quick. Somebody's juicy. Not want to go to the bathroom. Look at the stuff on the wall. Okay, so anyway, I grew up in town. Dude, I love you guys. I grew up in a town with, it was really small. It was so small, man. It was like, and we had gang problems. We had one gang. They were called the East Side Milkers. They were all like, yo. You know, and I had struggles of my own. You know, it wasn't all just peachy keen just because I was a Christian. You know, we grew up poor. I had to wear hand-me-downs for my younger brother. I'll pause when some of you get that. I did not look good at capris. And we didn't have things, but my dad wanted to make us feel like we all had stuff. So if my mom wanted something, my dad would try. You know what I'm talking about? My mom wanted a trash compactor, so my dad was like, we don't need one, we have one. And he used to pick me up and use me. Anybody go through that? Oh, you did? Okay, I hated it. I was like, no, please, feet first. I begged my mom not to tell him he wanted a garbage disposal. Yeah, I gained 30 pounds one Thanksgiving. So it was one of those things. And my dad was one of those weird guys where he loved humor, but it was like prank humor. Like that's what he was into. And some I would get, some I would. Like he taught me how to play slug bug. You see a Volkswagen Beetle, you punch a person. Next, yeah, he taught me the rules, and he drove me to a Volkswagen dealership. Or he would do something. I was very slow growing up. I didn't get, you know. I thought I was his favorite because every time he made a cake, he let me lick the cake beaters, you know. And then like a month later, I realized you can turn them off first. So some I didn't even get until I became an adult. The first year I was doing stand-up, I was doing a show in Florida, and or not Florida. Philadelphia. I knew it was a state that started with an F. I am not good at geometry. So, it was Philadelphia because they had bears there, and they were nervous because I was doing a youth retreat, and we were staying out in tents, and they were like, do you know what to do? We don't want to scare you, but do you know what to do if there's bears, you know, if a bear attacks you? And I was like, well, yeah, my dad used to tell me what to do before he dropped me off in the woods when I was little. And he would. He was like, you don't want bears to smell you, so you need to put meat on your body. So it hides your human odor. And, well, what do you say? Do you guys have bears here? Yeah. You do? You do have bears here? Yeah. Okay, it's okay to talk to me. I won't make fun of you unless you go do a duty. What do you do if you're attacked by a bear? Play dead. That's what they told me. And again, I don't like to lie to people, but honestly, could anybody do that? A bear tearing through your tent, like, rah! And you'd be like, oh. I couldn't do that. Even if I could, the bear's bound to be like, rah! This dead guy just wet himself. I stayed up all night scared to death the bear was going to attack me. And then I woke up the next morning and I went down to the river and I splashed water in my face and I did get attacked by an evil... If you don't have them, you're not going to think this is evil, but it was a goose. It was a Canadian goose. It was an American-hating Canadian goose. You know what I'm talking about? They wear a big furry hat with a chin strap, and you know what I'm talking about? Like they don't even, they're honk, eh? And came out of nowhere. It bit me on the hand. I went running back into this group of kids who thought I was cool because I'd done stand-up the night before. Totally ruined that. I was like, they're like, what is it? Is it a mountain lion? Is it a bear? Is it Edward Cullen? What is it? I was like, no. Goose! No, it came out of nowhere. There was no warning. I thought at least I would see a duck and then a duck and then... So my dad would even pull all these pranks on me, and then it's all this... Here's another one that I thought he was doing because I was a Christian and I thought he really loved me. Every night he would have me take communion, and I finally was bragging to my brothers, like, he doesn't care about you. And my brother was like, dude, he's just giving you NyQuil. So I grew up with a weird sense of humor in my family, and sometimes I was funny unintentionally. You go to a small school, if you don't get stuff, you can just ask questions because it's not a big class. I didn't get the rules to the fire. I was not trying to be smarter. Like, I honestly did. The teacher's like, in the event of a fire, walk, don't run. I was like, if there's a fire, I'm running. It's like, what do you want us to do? Walk down the hallway while flames lick around your body? I'm like, la la la. Ow! Wow. One teacher said in the event of a fire, walk single file. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's form a human wick. So, with the fire to catch up, it was like... One rule we had, I guess because it was a small school, was last person out of the room had to shut all the windows. I know. I was like, okay, let me get this straight. So if there ever is a fire, we're all standing outside watching the building burn, watching one kid frantically try to shut all the windows. Like, hey, there goes Jimmy, you can do it! Whoa, man. What a shame, man. He almost made it to that last window, right? And I wasn't trying to be smarter. Like, I just didn't get stuff. First grade, my teacher said, class, you have to raise your hand to go to the bathroom. I was like, no, you don't. Watch. So I didn't date much. So it is, but comedy's a powerful tool, and so I'm blessed to do it. Even when I was young, I had this great, I'll just share this really quick testimony, because I know I came here to make you laugh, but when I was little, I realized the power of comedy. I was sitting next to this lady who was crying, and I didn't know her, didn't know what was going on in her life, and back then I had two things that always made people laugh, or at least smile and feel good about themselves. One, before I had learned what tweezers were, I had the worst monobrow that I'd evidently inherited from my grandmother, and I was lucky, my brother got her mustache. But I had this weird monobrow that I realized that I could mash it together and make the letter M in between my eyebrows. I know, I kind of want to grow it back out. So, dude, I would have a sponsorship from McDonald's in a week. And the other thing I could do was I could play Amazing Grace with my armpit. I'm Church of Christ, that is non-instrumental. So, I know this is a silly testimony, but God will find ways to use you if you're willing to be used by Him. And so I was sitting next to this lady, and I didn't know what I was just like, I just want to cheer her up. I want to use laughter to cheer her. And I was like, hey, lady, hi. I don't know why you're so sad, but I just wanted you to know that today my eyebrows will be brought to you by the letter M. When I did it, it was unbelievable. She was like, it was great. Laughter filled her soul. The room was filled with laughter. I thought it was great. The rest of the people at the funeral. They were not appreciating what God was doing. But I didn't care, because in that moment I realized laughter is an amazing gift from God. Plus, I realized that I could probably perform in front, because everybody stared at me and I wasn't even nervous. I knew what to do. It was a funeral. I played Amazing Grace. So all that to say is thank you for coming out. I didn't mean to tell you all that, but thank you for coming out because I'm so blessed to be able to do something I love and it's something that God created. But my favorite job in the world is this nonprofit organization that my wife and I started 14 years ago called Being a Parent. And you know what I'm talking about. We've got 3 tax deductions, and they're all boys. And I was going to ask you this backstage, but we have all boys, and having 3 boys, it's like owning a motorcycle. Your insurance rates skyrocket, your hair's always messed up, and at some point during the journey, you're going to eat a bug. It is, isn't it crazy, to keep up with it? And just the idea, just me being a dad, try to picture me as a dad. First of all, I didn't know anything at the beginning, and being a comic will get you in trouble. I remember when we first had the meeting with the doctor, he was trying to give us advice. He was like, now, babies can't blow their nose, so you need to use this. And he handed me this turkey baster bowl thing. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, what is this? He goes, you put it in your son's nose, and you go, like that. And I was like, then what happens? His head caves in? I don't think so. Because doesn't that make sense? No! Now he's going to be a Democrat. I'm Bob Smiley, and I approve this message. Wow. I'm going to move here. Just got to spray paint my squirrel. So anyway, and being a comic, you get in trouble with stuff. But at one point, the doctor was like, now, if the baby's crying, it's because of 3 things. 1, he's hungry. 2, he's tired. 3, he has a dirty diaper. And I'm a comedian. I was like, shouldn't dirty diaper be number 2? He didn't even laugh. He just turned to my wife and gave her a pamphlet on single parenting. And my wife can do it. My wife is so amazing. That's another way that God has just blessed me. She's smart. She's smart. She is very smart, and I love that. But sometimes she's too smart. Any other husbands here, I don't enjoy arguing with her because I don't like looking words up. It is so, a lot of times she's like, your problem is you're too assiduous when dealing with contravention. You need to absolve and commute those wrongdoings and exonerate those around you. And I'm like, I know you are, but what am I? She's an amazing mom, amazing wife, and we've been married 16 years, and anybody, sorry. I was going to ask if there's any newlyweds here, but of course not. Why would you leave the house? So, that is a lot of unpacking and organizing, I remember. It took weeks, but no, seriously, are there anybody here just kind of married? Kind of married? Sorry. What am I, in San Francisco? Anybody here not really married? Anybody here been married less than a year, or anybody newlyweds? Anybody? Really? Nobody? Everybody's okay, good. Then I want to hang out with all of you. Because newlyweds, I don't know if you guys have hung out with. We have a couple that are in our life group, and they're just too, what I'm talking about, that syrupy sweet. They're like, no, you hang out, no, you hang out, no, you hang out. I'm like, you guys don't even have phones, okay? This is a true story. 2 weeks ago, there was one cookie on the plate at our life group, and both of them reached for the cookie at the same time, and they weren't looking, and they looked up and they saw each other. And if you've hung out with newlyweds, you know what happened. Both of them said the same thing. Both of them, the woman and the man. Both of them reached for the cookie, and they went, no, you take it. No, you, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Cherry Coke, right? We love Cherry Coke, Bob. And I was like, oh, cool. It was too much. Oh. The best part, though, was when they were doing that, my wife took the cookie. So I love how much you learn when you get married. I mean, especially that first year. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I did not know until I got married the only way to properly clean your body is to obviously use shea butter, nectar, exfoliating scrub. Like an idiot, I've been using So, except for in college where I used a dryer sheet. You learn stuff every day, and hopefully you try to be a better spouse, a better husband, a better wife, you know? I'm still working on that. This last Mother's Day, I actually wrote my wife this beautiful poem, and I read it aloud to her. I don't think she heard me over the lawnmower she was pushing. Here's what's funny about that. That's a true story. But no, it is. And so I do try, because, you know, and especially that first week when you're married, I didn't know stuff. I didn't know women at night, they put stuff on their face and in their hair, I guess to preserve them through the night. Tell your husband, the first week I was married, my wife came out of the bathroom. I didn't even recognize her. I was like, whoa, hi. Greetings. Like, should I take you to my leader? And she was like, idiot, I am your leader. I try to be, my big thing is I'm not a very good, I don't pay attention to her. I don't listen. Don't laugh, I really don't. I'm not good at listening. Actually, this is a good example. Last week, my wife came into, we live just north of Houston where we have a lot of mosquitoes, and she came I was in the living room, she came in the kitchen, she was like, I'm done with these mosquitoes, I've had it, I want you to go to the store and get a Bud Light. And I was like, half listening, I thought she told me to go buy a Bud Light. Yeah. I know, I was like, a Bud Light? When did we become Baptists? That is a joke. It's a comedy show. If you're Baptist, don't come up after the show. Pretend you don't drink. So it is so, and you learn stuff all the time. I actually learned not to text my wife. A couple of weeks ago, I learned not to text her to bring me a cup of coffee before I got out of bed that morning. And I learned that evidently she had been a sailor at some point. Those words I didn't have to look up. That's right, I went to public school. So, I'm looking at my phone because I asked her if I could share this. I was in California last week, and I'm never texting her again. This is what I wrote. I was in California, and I'd gone down to the hotel breakfast, and I just want to check in with her, because I love my wife so much, and I just wanted to, this is what I wrote to her. This is why I'll never text again to her. Good morning, my love. How's the greatest woman in the world? I ate too much for breakfast. I'm so miserably full, bloated and fat, totally disgusting. How's your mom doing? I know, I didn't mean anything by it, but I'm not good at segues. Anyway, I wrote, I got a sunburn yesterday at the festival, because I was at a festival and I got a sunburn, because I don't know if you can see, but I'm a redhead, so, yeah, I don't tan, I burst into flames. I can't even use regular sunscreen, I gotta put on mayonnaise, right? Being the redhead, I get a sunburn in a bright kitchen. I'm like, really? In fact, that was what I was looking for. When I went to college, my only two criteria for a wife was she had to be a Christian and she couldn't be another redhead because our kids would be transparent. So, that's going to be my question for God. Everybody says that they have their one question they're going to ask when they get to heaven, who shot JFK, or, fire ants, why fire ants, or, Kardashians, really, Not me, I'm going to ask, really, when, did you forget to, because I feel like God forgot to make me on the 6th day. I'm a skinny, pale redhead. I feel like on the 6th day, he was like, I didn't make Bob Smiley, what do we have left over? Like angels are flying in, we found this albino and this clown wig. And don't know if you can use it, but here's a jar of freckles. So, I didn't type all that to her. That was, I don't know what that was. I got a sunburn yesterday at the festival. It felt like I was a mile from the sun. Whoever thought a big ball of gas could make me so miserable? This is why I'm never texting my wife. I have AT&T, and they will just sometimes send half your text. Yeah, some people shaking your head, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is what my wife got. Good morning, my love. How's the greatest woman in the world? Bloated and fat, totally disgusting. How's your mom doing? Whoever thought a big ball of gas would make me so miserable? I am never texting again. But she is, and hopefully if you're a husband, hopefully you do like check in with her let her know. I think that's a big deal. I have no joke for this. I just feel like I should say this. If every husband spent more time loving their wife than they did with trying to get to the next level of the video game or planning the weekend fishing trip, I think there'd be less divorces. I don't have any joke about it. I just think that's the way God wants us to be. We want to love, and she's a great mom, and I let her know, and she makes me want to be a better dad, but there's just some things I'm just not going to be good at. Like, honestly, I'm a dad. I don't have that dad voice. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it helps if you're a dad, if you have a voice like a man. Like my dad has that booming Texas voice. My dad used to tell me to do something, and his voice would echo over the town. Like he would tell me to do something, and other kids would do it. He'd be like, "Get out of that tree!" And kids would be jumping out of trees everywhere. I can't do that. Hey, get out of that tree. Okay, Mom. Oh, sorry, Dad. That's another thing. I have a 14-year-old son now, Coulter. His voice is deeper than mine. That is so intimidating. And it happened like a week ago. I've never seen a kid go through puberty that quick. He was walking down the stairs, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. Can I have some cereal?" "I was a food. What are you looking at?" "I'm watching you grow that beard." So it is. And I think that's why, sometimes you just get thrown as a dad. I think that's why a lot of dads say the same stuff. Like, my dad used to say a bunch of stuff to me, and I would think, I'm never saying that. I'm saying it now. Anybody else go through that? I'm saying the things I promised I would never. Quit crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. Or, don't make me come up there. Hide in this box till company leaves. So, that may be a Texas thing. Anybody, I saw you hitting him. I'm not going to embarrass you. But do you guys ever find yourself saying things that you never thought you would have to say, like the weirdest sentences in the world? Before I left this morning, I actually had to say, "Did you bite him before or after he sprayed you in the eye with cologne?" I never thought I'd have to say that. I never thought I'd actually have to say this sentence. No, chicken pot pie does not have pot in it. I've actually shouted out loud in my house, "Whose toothbrush is on the commode seat?" I had to tell my 8-year-old, "Don't lick the dog." That one actually kind of made sense because we have a chocolate lab and he loves chocolate. My favorite thing that Dad had to say was, this is true, "Where'd you get those scissors and what happened to your eyebrows?" That was my favorite saying because my dad had to say that to me. And that is a true story. I was sitting watching football. I had scissors. I don't know why. I was just doing this and it felt good. I didn't think about the fact I cut my eyebrows off. My dad was so mad too. He was like, "You're embarrassing your mother and I. You're 22 years old." Scissors, man. Alright, I'm gonna tell this. This is another thing that's not part of my act, but I feel like, okay, here's the deal. And I want to tell you kids this before I go into this. It's not even jokes. This is gonna bomb. I can already tell. But anyway, being an adult is awesome. You need to know that. I think a lot of adults are like, it's horrible. There's so much. No, it's great. If you're focused on God and everything, you can do whatever. You can stay up as late as you want. You can eat as much candy as you want. You can run with scissors. You can drive yourself to the ER afterwards. This is the story, because it's a totally true story. The first time I had to go to the ER as an adult was running with scissors. Total true story. Very embarrassing. I'm finally an adult. What do I do? Yes, I'm on my own. I'm in charge of me. What do I do? No! I was living in Nashville. I'll make this really quick, because again, it's not a bit or anything, but I was living in Nashville, and I was dirt poor, starving artist. I mean, I had nothing. I had nothing. I ate off a Frisbee. I drank out of a Yahtzee cup. And it was bad. I had 2 pair of blue jeans, and I had 14 shirts that all said Newsboys on it, because I'd been on tour with the Newsboys, and they didn't launch their tour bus. I'll tell you when I'm not telling the truth. Because I did 2 tours with the Newsboys. One was called Love Liberty Disco Tour, which I didn't like, because they made me wear an all-white disco suit, and I just bleached my hair blonde, so I looked like a used Q-tip. And the other one was called Festival Candios, and it was 11 Christian bands. It was a big traveling festival. It was 11 Christian bands, Christian road crew. Everything was Christian. Like, even our bathrooms, we had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. And had 14 men's boy shirts, and I had one shirt that was a button-up. It was a mechanic shirt that said Sergio on the name tag that I found. The point is, I was poor, okay? And so that's not even a good part of the story. But anyway, that's all I had. And so I was sitting in the empty bedroom because I didn't have any furniture, except in the living room I had a TV on the floor, and I had again, I feel like I have to keep saying this is true. I had a flat-bottom two-man boat, a little plastic two-man boat that my dad gave me. Or again, he didn't give me, he wasn't home when I packed. Yeah, he was busy at the graduation party that he and Mom threw for me and didn't invite me. So I took that and I slept in the flat-bottom boat, but it was comfortable because I had like 11 blankets and like 17 pillows. You know, thank you, Delta Airlines. So I was sitting in the empty bedroom and I was cutting out ramen noodle coupons for 50% off, right? That's 9 cents savings. So I heard SpongeBob come on in the other room, you know, and like most adults, I like to be in front of the TV when I go, aye, aye, Captain. So I jumped up. This is why it's not a good stand-up story, but it's totally true. I ran up and I ran in the living room and I was watching the TV and I hit the two-man boat and I fell. I actually had the scissors in this hand and the scissors went into my hand. Not like through the meat, like just into the skin part. And at first I was like, because just one of the scissors things, so I could actually go like this and the scissors would go, It was fun for a little bit, so I was like, ah. But then it started to hurt. Then I panicked because I was like, I don't know what to do. Because I remember reading that if I took scissors, like if you stab yourself and if you hit an artery and you pull the scissors or whatever stabs you, if you pull it out and you hit an artery, you'll bleed to death. Anybody else hear that? I read that, you know, and I didn't know if I had arteries in my hand because again, I wasn't homeschooled, so I didn't know things. So I got in my car. This was the worst car in the war. It was an 86 Geo, which is funny because it didn't Geo anywhere. It was the cheapest. It did not. It was slow. Again, don't do this, but I actually tried to outrun a cop one time. And yeah, he caught me and he was mad. He jumped off that bicycle. Didn't you hear me ringing the bell? I didn't even roll the window down right away, so he just picked the car up and shook it. No, that's not true. But the other part was. Anyway, so I'm in the car, and by then it's really hurting, but I don't want to pull it out. Oh, one good thing about the Geo, it had a moonroof, so every time I got to a four-way stop, I'd go, anybody beat this? No, I'm going. So I was headed to the ER. I wasn't even sure where the ER is, you know, because, again, I had just become an adult, so I hadn't been, anybody that follows me on Twitter knows that I go to the ER quite a bit now. I actually have a favorite gurney. I have. I've been so, I was actually, no, that wasn't an ER visit, never mind. I was thinking about my last operation, but I shouldn't even share that. I'll just say that I do have something in common with our old dog, Buddy. So, right, Daddy lost his bark. I'm not going to be invited back. So anyway, this is why I should stick to just jokes. Anyway, so I was driving to the ER. By the way, I was not super nervous because, and again, this is just a tip. It's not a joke. If you have trouble with road rage, I can tell you how to stop it. All you have to do, and it works everywhere, all you have to do is turn on Vietnamese talk radio, okay? You cannot listen to Vietnamese talk radio and be angry. It is impossible. It is the most coolest language in the world because it sounds like they're getting shot in the back of the head with a ping pong ball gun. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but if you're mad, find Vietnamese talk because all of a sudden you're like, everyone merged. So I was listening to that, and I was trying to stay calm, and I finally got to the ER, and I ran in. I didn't even know what to do, right? I'd just become an adult, so I ran up to the check-in counter, and the lady just looks up at me. And she goes, hello. Hi, how are you? She actually goes, what seems to be the trouble? And I was like, It seems I may have stabbed myself with scissors, but I'd like to get a second opinion. She actually goes, I can tell you you did. but I'll get the doctor to look at it. Have a seat, Mr. Sergio. So all I have to say is, like, so I love being an adult, but there is responsibility, you know, and you kind of touched on it. You know, there's a lot of, you know, what do you guys think of it? Do you think technology makes it more difficult to be a parent nowadays than back then? Do you think technology makes it harder? I see some of you shaking your head, and the other of you guys are probably downloading Tap right now. Do you agree? Because I never, like, you know, like, we got a lot of advice from Facebook. A lot of people, like, were telling us all this stuff about faith, you know, like, one was discipline. Like, how do you discipline your kids? Yeah, okay, you guys are so quiet. Talk to me. Because everybody's doing this, but nobody's saying it. It's okay to say you spank your kids. We do. You know, we were going to just do timeout, but then we got the James Dobson Strong-Willed Child book, and that was great, because it was thick enough that when we spanked them, spanking's worked on me. One time I was down front, my dad goes, on this next song, let's stand to our feet. I don't know why I did this, but I was like, yeah, everybody, let's stand to our feet. Good thing you said that, I almost stood in my liver. We never sang that song. My dad shut the book. He picked me up like a football, carried me outside, and I deserved it, but it's embarrassing because it's right in front of my wife. But it is, like, technology, because you have to keep up. You have to keep up to know what your kids, especially to protect them. The other thing was about video games. A lot of people were like, don't let your kids play video games. If they play video games on the TV, whatever they do on that, they're going to do in real life. And I was like, I don't know about that. I played video games when I was a kid, but I've never run down an alleyway eating dots while a Ford Ghost chased me. Never been at a party like, oh, that's a cool story. Hang on, floating cherry! You know, but you gotta, the other day, my 10-year-old, he came up to me, and you have to be up with this. I felt like an idiot. He came into my office, he's like, hey, Dad, I created a cartoon. I want to upload it on an FTP site, but I totally forgot my password. Do you remember? And I was like, what? Okay, Google. I didn't even know what to say. Like, thankfully, my oldest was like, Trent, what did we say about using big words in front of Dad? And I didn't know what he was talking about. My 10-year-old made a cartoon, okay? I'm just going to be honest. When I was 10, I was not making cartoons. When I was 10, I was like, I can tell a lot of you, I was more like, this glue tastes good. I wasn't uploading anything. Remember when uploading just meant getting something stuck in your nose? That's also a true story. I did actually get a crayon stuck in my nose one time. And it broke off, and I panicked. I was like, nah, I smell jungle green. You know? Oh. And and we were poor, so I ran to my dad and I was like, there's a crayon stuck in my, we gotta go to the hospital. And my dad was like, we're not going to the hospital. We live in Texas. Stand outside, it's hot, it'll melt. By the way, you want to really weird your friends out? You let jungle green melt out of your nose. I shouldn't have eaten that burrito. It is, that's all I'm saying, is I think the whole technology thing, and I realize that I do agree that some video games you have to be very careful. I think a lot of parents don't realize how much cussing is involved in that game Halo, and that's just me trying to get the tape off the DVD case. Anybody else get totally frustrated? Is it test your Christianity trying to open up DVD? Whoever invented that, I hope he still goes to heaven, but I hope whenever he gets up there, God has taped the pearly gates shut with that tape. Like, wouldn't that be great? God just standing there like, hey, come on in. Having a little trouble. Good, I lost 80,000 people to the other place because of your tape player. So I do agree you have to have, and kids, they can't go outside as much. I know we live in a dangerous world, we've got all that, we've got terrorists, we've got murderers, Bill Maher, and we do. It's a dangerous place. The government has that, if you see something, say something. If you see something strange, tell someone. And I'm like, that does not work. If you're in Walmart. You're telling on everybody, aren't you? It's like, like I was in Walmart the other day. I saw this. I was like, come here. See that person pushing the cart back with the mullet, with the sleeves cut off, drinking a beer? I think she has a gun. Manager's like, it's Texas. Of course she's got a gun. So it is. I'm just saying, like, there's all this, and all this stuff. but kids need exercise. I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just saying I think that I see a problem as we travel around. Kids, because remember the game we used to play called Go Outside? Anybody remember Go Outside? Oh, the graphics were amazing, right? I used to play outside all day long, or until my dad would unlock the door. And so I do. I think kids need more exercise and stuff, and I travel around, I see all these kids, and I read about the health of kids. Every kid's got ADD or asthma, or he can't be within 10 feet of a peanut. Is there a peanut deal here? Like, there's a war on peanuts in Texas. Like, before school got out, I went to have lunch with my kid. There were anti-peanut slogans everywhere. It was a public school, so I was signing in and doing the retinal exam. And 3 secretaries asked me, "You don't have any peanuts in that lunch bag, do you?" I was like, "No." And then the student counselor came out and said, "You don't have any peanuts." Then the principal saw me in the hallway. She was like, "Oh, you don't have any peanuts in that." Just to mess with her, I was like, "I got a Snickers. Is that okay?" She goes, "Sir, you better be joking. Those are packed with peanuts. I'll do a peanut pat down right now." When did peanuts? I asked my son, I was like, "What's the deal with peanuts?" He was like, "Oh, they remind us every week we can't have peanuts at school." I'm like, "Do they ever tell you not to do drugs?" He goes, "Nope, just don't do peanuts." Has it gotten to the point where that's the worst thing for kids? Like, are there teachers out there going, "Hey, you kid in the back, is that a payday?" No, I promise, it's a bag of weed. Okay. So kids, they need to exercise. We've got to get kids active, and every town has their problems, I don't know if you guys have problems that are specific. We live in a town called the Woodlands. Has anybody heard of the Woodlands? Okay. What do you know about it? It's okay to be honest. Yeah, I live there, but have you... you stayed awake the whole time. What?
You got a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is why I want to say this. The Woodlands is a very rich area, and we live there, and we're not rich at all. I want you guys to know that. Not at all. Like, God either blessed us with this house, or the elderly people we bought it from thought I was their grandson. Seriously, all I said was, "We really want this house, Nana," And it is so rich. Oh, I don't like it. Our firemen use bottled water. Come on. This is what I ask if you knew, because you'll believe the story. There was a write-up in the paper, and there was a big argument that several cheerleaders were getting Botox, and they were taking days off of school to get Botox, and their argument was we shouldn't be punished for that because we're doing that to be cheerleaders, which is sad on so many levels. The main one is, I don't want my cheerleaders having Botox. I don't want them being up there going, "We have spirit, yes we do, we have spirit, how about you?" I lost my spirit. I did that joke at a comedy club 2 weeks ago, and there was a lady down front that just had Botox. It was great. She was like, "Oh, he's not funny at all. You're not funny." I was like, "You're not human." I didn't say that to her. I thought it. I'm a Christian. But anyway, the point is we have to be active. We have to take the responsibility of being a parent. That's why I really admire you for being a stay-at-home dad. Like, no joke, I really think that there needs to be more of that. More dads invested in their families, and then I think there won't be as many problems with kids making bad decisions and stuff. And we're probably going to have to homeschool our kids. I don't want to go back and learn all 38 states. Even when I try to help my kids, I'm not good at it. Last April, my youngest kid's teacher called me and was like, "Hey, are you helping Xander with his homework?" And I was like, "Yep, I'm an active dad. Tell me how to help." And she was like, "Oh, stop it." She's like, "Did you tell your son that a paradigm was basically 4 nickels?" And I was like, "Yeah." Everybody get it? It's gonna get it? No child left behind. It is. So I just, and I know we got to get out of here, but I just, that's why I value my wife. My wife is so amazing. She can homeschool, And that's the other thing. A lot of comics make fun of like their wives and stuff. Women are amazing. I didn't realize until I got married, but women can multitask. My wife can be in the kitchen. She can have a kid on one hip. She can be talking on the phone, doing our dinner. She can be doing our taxes.